Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up again!
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up again!
We're in.
Shall we play a game?
How about global thermonuclear war?
Hey there, HackerFrogs. It's me, the Shy Hat, and we're doing HackerFrogs after school. Well, we're not doing that. We're doing HackerFrogs co-working today. Okay, Blank Delta from the chat says, should I go back to learning Python and learning other stuff, or should I focus on other stuff right now? Well, I mean, you can do multiple things at once. You can study something for maybe an hour a day. You maybe want to, if you're doing a lot of different things at once, say you're a beginner and you want to eventually get into web app pen testing, I'd say you could learn like Python coding for an hour a day. You could learn computer networking with some course for an hour a day. You could also do like Linux practice for an hour a day. And what else? What else would really benefit you? Computer networking, Python coding, Linux practice, maybe learn about some JavaScript, HTML practice, basically understanding how web pages work, and like other like web dev stuff, and etc. etc. Basically, portion out your day into different sections. Of course, if you really feel like you're getting good benefit out of learning one thing for an extended period of time, go ahead and do that. But when you feel like you're getting tired of one thing, you might want to switch over to another topic, and it'll help you avoid burnout, which is really bad when you're learning about something. Anyways, what are we doing today? We're going to be doing our co-working stream. So co-working Tuesday, we're going to be doing co-working hangout. I'm going to be working on a C programming course to get better at programming, to get better at, well, not necessarily programming, but get better at understanding cybersecurity concepts like reverse engineering and binary exploitation. Nightcry, hello, nice to see you here. Hope you're having a good day. But while we're working on this, I might as well put on a little bit of music so that it's not just my voice out there in the void. Go ahead and put on some music. If you ever feel like the music is too loud, let me know and I will adjust the volume. That's a bit loud. Okay, let's see. Nightcry says, busy getting my kit ready for DEF CON. Awesome, awesome. When is DEF CON, by the way? It's is it the first week of August, or am I mistaken? Let's check on the volume. Might be still a little bit too loud. 10 days away. Okay, okay. All right, so we're going to be working on our course on C Essentials. And this is a free course. You can take it yourself if you really want to learn about C. Here you go. And I'm going to get started. If everybody is interested in talking about cybersecurity, asking questions, go ahead and ask those questions. I'll answer them as soon as I can. But we're just here to have a relaxing time, do some studying, and be productive with our time. Okay, so this is module number 4, so C Essentials Part 1. In this module, we'll learn about switch, different faces of if, arrays, that is vectors, sorting in real life and computer memory, initiators, pointers, an address, a reference, and a dereference, and the size of operator. Simple pointers and pointers to nothing, that is null, the AND operator, pointer arithmetic, pointers versus arrays, different forms of the same phenomenon, strings, and string manipulation. Nightcry says, nowadays we have to include in C learning the risk of dodgy libraries. I mean, the risk of dodgy libraries is present in every big programming language, right? So if we're talking about, like, what is this called? Supply chain poisoning? So this applies to, I mean, it applies to C, it applies to JavaScript, it applies to Python. Basically, every major programming language has to worry about their dependencies. I guess we could also call this, what was it, dependency? Like, malicious dependencies? Something like this? Yeah, yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and get going. Oh, you know what I should do? I should set a time limit for myself. So for each one of these streams, our segments are usually of a fixed length. We're going to try going on for about 2 hours, and after 2 hours is up, we'll see where we're at then. I typically cap off each one of these live streams at about, well, these live streams we cap out at around 3 hours, but we'll see what happens. Okay, we got case and switch versus if. So as you know, an if cascade is the name for a construction of code where many if instructions are placed consecutively one after another, as in the example in the editor. Of course, there is no obstacles to using and maintaining code like that, but there are a few disadvantages that you might want to have to deal with. So for one, the longer the cascade, the harder it is to read and understand what it's indented for. Amending the cascade is also hard. It's hard to add a new branch to it, and it's hard to remove any previously created branch. But the C language offers a way to make selections easier. We want to emphasize that this is really more syntax candy than anything else. You can manage without it, but don't hesitate to use it when your ifs start growing extensively. Okay, Randolph asks, is the flicker effect new? Is there a flicker effect? Where do you see the flicker effect, Randolph? Let me know. Okay, so what do we have here in the code window? So if I equals 1, puts only 1. Else if I equals 2, then puts I want more. Else if I equals 3, puts not bad. Else puts okay. No flicker here on Twitch. Is there something wrong with the YouTube stream? Let me go ahead and check it out. The entire stream is flickering. The whole window is flickering. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the live stream on YouTube right now. I don't see any flickering. Are you sure it's not on your end? Once every 6 to 8 seconds. 6 to 8 seconds. I mean, that sounds pretty bad. Let me take a look. Sweenwolf says, fine on YouTube. Yeah, I don't see the flickering on my end. Okay, so let's continue. Let's take a look at the snippet in the editor. It's an example of how to replace an if cascade with a specialized instruction. Note that the words switch and case are keywords. Let's see, Randolph says, I'll capture it at some point, no worries. Could you try either reloading the page or maybe using another browser to see if the results are different or not? So the new instruction is called switch, and it is, in fact, a switch. How does it work? So first, the value of the expression enclosed inside the parentheses after the switch keyword is evaluated. This is sometimes called a switching expression. Then the block is searched in order to find a literal preceded by the case keyword, which is equal to the value of the expression. When the case is found, the instructions behind the colon are executed. If there's a break among them, the execution of the switch statement is terminated. Otherwise, all instructions are executed until the end of the block is reached or another break is met. What happens if the switching expression has a value that does not occur in any of the cases? The answer is simple. Nothing will happen. None of the branches of the switch statement are executed. Okay, so switch I, case 1 puts only one break. Case 2 puts I want more break. Case 3 puts not bad break. Case 4 puts okay. So switch I. Okay, we'll just continue from here. Okay, let's modify the requirements. Let's assume that our program is satisfied. It says okay. If the I variable is equal to 3, 4, or 3, does that mean that we have to create 2 branches for both possibilities? Fortunately not. We're allowed to place more than one case in front of any branch, like the one in the editor. Okay, so switch I, case 1 puts only 1, case 2 puts I want more, case 3, case 4 puts okay. So case is basically the variable that I is, right? But there's nothing here. Maybe case 3 and case 4 both put okay? Randolph says you should set a default case in order to catch whatever fails though, falls through. So case 4, case else, would it be? I'm not too sure what you would put here. So we got, or do we use like the else keyword? I guess I'll explain it in just a bit. We can also assume that our program does not have an opinion when I values are different from the one specified so far, and we want the program to express it in a clear form. Have we made a million new cases covering the entire int types range? No. We can use a generalized case that covers all of these events which haven't been enumerated in the previous cases. Take a look at the code in the editor. Okay, so there's a default case. Okay, note that the default that default is a keyword too. Don't forget to use the break. Leaving out this keyword is one of the most common mistakes developers make, not only at the beginning of their careers. Simple, right? And how elegant. But now a few more important remarks to note. Okay, Blank Delta says, I'm downloading Burp Suite to learn how to use the Portswigger Community Edition. I mean, Blank Delta, yeah, if you want to learn about web app security stuff, learning how to use Burp Suite is probably a good thing to do, because Burp Suite is the industry standard tool for web app security testing. SysOS says, hi Shai, learning CIC switch statements are really handy. Yeah, let's hope that I can pick them up quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be a hard time. But SysOS Master, nice to see you here. Okay, so the value after the case must not be an expression containing variables. Must not be an expression containing variables or any other entities whose values aren't known at compilation time. The case branches are scanned in the same order in which they're specified in the program. This means that the most common selection should be placed first. In fact, this could make your program a little faster in some cases. They're like superpowered if and else. Okay. Now we say goodbye to our switch statement. It's going to take time. It's time to take up an important challenge. We're going to discuss arrays. We're going to discuss arrays. So arrays are basically lists. I mean, they're a collection of objects, right? Okay. Level of difficulty easy. Familiarize a student with working with the switch case statement, printing on screen, and write a program that asks the user to enter the name of the month and prints the name of that month on the screen. When the number does not correspond to a month, less than 1 or greater than 12, the program prints error, no such month in my calendar. Okay, can be objects or ints or strings or anything. So it's just a collection of things. So if you can't remember all the names, here's a list. Your version of the program must print the same result as the expected output. So sample input 12, expected output December. Okay, so I think what we need to do is we need to do something like we need to initialize in integer variable, so integer month, and then we can do, I think that's it, right? And then we can do scanf. Scanf that takes in a number, and we will assign this to month. And we should also do like a puts. So puts enter a month in number format. Okay. Enter a month in number format. I mean, I think that should be okay. SysOS Master says, remember in C we don't have dictionaries. There are no... okay. Randolph says, one last thing, if you don't have a break at the end of the line, execution will continue to the next line. Oh yeah, that's an important detail. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, so let's see. Now we need to do the so this is switch month, something like this. Switch month case 1. I kind of forget what the format looks like. So case 1, and then we need to puts a bunch of different things. Is it January? So puts January and then break. Okay, should have a string array for the months. Should have a string array for the months. Really? I mean, we could do a string array, or we could just, like, you know, do it directly in here. Blank Delta says, not gonna lie, whenever I keep learning new stuff, I keep getting scared because I don't want to accidentally do something I shouldn't. Accidentally do something you shouldn't. I mean, this is why we work inside of education environments, right? So we use the cybersecurity education websites because we don't want to be hacking actual websites and getting in trouble. Doing it with Switch, you'll have a put statement in each case. Okay, so let's just get like a template first. C switch statement template. Okay, switch expression case 1 something something break. So okay, so we do the expression and then we do the curly brackets. So case 1, case something, and then after the colon put in some instructions and then break, right? So case 1, because we're putting in something like this. So case 1 puts January break, then case 2, then case 3. We can just like copy paste this stuff because we've got like 12 of them to go through. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13. Unfortunately, these are all not formatted correctly. That's unfortunate. Okay, so that's case 2, which is February. Put statement in each one of these cases, yeah. Okay, case 3 puts March. So I hope you're able to mix tabs and spaces in C, otherwise I'm in trouble. So let's see, March, April, let's just do these. May, we can number these as well. So 5, May, 6, June, 7 is July, 8 is August. That kind of reminds me, August is going to be here pretty soon. Kind of frightening how quickly the year is going by. Tattletale, hello, nice to see you here. You should make an app like Bonzi Buddy, use Frog, and ask AI without an ad. I think you might have commented that exact same thing on another video, Tattletale. Nice to see you here. And see, white space doesn't matter. Well, that's good. It's not going to affect my code then. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I want to create something that could be interpreted as malware or adware. I looked up Bonzi Buddy. Interesting stuff. Okay, so we got November. And then December. Okay, I guess the other thing is we should probably... The last one is default. But let's go ahead and format all this stuff first. Telltale says, how about a frog philosopher for Linux programming language? A frog philosopher for the Linux programming language. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be creating any HackerFrog themed apps anytime soon, but thank you very much for the suggestion. Okay, so the last case is default, I think. Default puts error, no such month in my calendar. Okay, I want to make one with wolf philosophy. Nothing, certainly nothing stopping you. Okay, so I think we're ready to give this a shot. Puts enter a month in number format. Ooh, should I have... Yeah, this should be somewhere else. Okay, we'll copy this to the top. Okay, and then we'll try running this. Enter a month and number format. So 1 January. Okay. So what are they? Let's test out the sample inputs and outputs. So sample input 12 should output December. Okay, and then we'll try again. You may want your input statement up top. The input statement. Yeah, I think we've corrected ourselves. So we want all of our switch statements to be down here below. Okay, so let's see. 2 should be February. And then 15 should be no such month in my calendar. Okay, good. All right. It works. We can move on to the next thing. Okay, so let's see. Working with the switch case statement, the break statement, when to use it and when not to use it, integer numbers printing on screen. So write a program that asks the user to enter the number of a month and prints the number of days before this month since the start of the year. When the number does not correspond to a month less than 1 or greater than 12, the program puts error no such month in my calendar. Use only switch for computing the sum of the days, don't use any loops. If you don't have to check whether or not the year is a leap year, assume it's a leap year. If you can't remember all the names and the numbers of days, here's a list. Okay. Your version of the program must print the same results as the expected output. So 2 means February, and there are 31 days before the given month. Okay, Tattletale asks, what does this have to do with cybersecurity? What does learning programming languages have to do with cybersecurity? Well, I mean, security of programs depends on being able to understand how programs work. And learning coding in particular, well, C coding that we're learning right now, it's very useful when you're learning about software reverse engineering as well as binary exploitation. Okay, Gateco System says, have you ever heard about balanced ternary number systems? No. What is that? Okay, so So we're basically outputting the number of days before this month. So before February, there are 31 days. And 10, there are 0 days. Okay. So let's go ahead and define. So integer month. Okay, so Tattletale asks, why C? Well, the reason why we're learning C is because, I'll explain it really quick. Why learn C for cybersecurity? So the reason why we learn C for cybersecurity is that most major operating systems were written with C. So for example, Linux was written with C, and I'm pretty sure Windows was also written with C, but somebody can correct me if it wasn't. So the other thing about learning C for cybersecurity is that reverse engineering tools decompile binaries to pseudo C code. So we need to understand C to do reverse engineering. So another thing about learning C for cybersecurity is that C is also important for teaching hacking concepts like integer overflow and buffer overflow. So there are a lot of reasons why you should learn C for cybersecurity. I'm not saying that you have to learn C if you want to learn cybersecurity, but if you want to learn about reverse engineering specifically, you should learn C, as well as if you want to learn about binary exploitation. So binary exploitation, malware development, these are all stuff that C really helps with. Okay, Agatico System says it's amazing we're using the decimal system. So 0 to 9, binary works with zeros and ones, and balanced ternary just has +1, -1, and 0. So plus plus 0 is 33 in our decimal system. So plus plus minus 0. Plus plus minus 0. I mean, I'm not too sure how that arrives there, but I'll believe you. So C is great. The lower level you go, the better. C is also C is a model like lower level language. It's not the lowest level language we're talking about. So low level basically talks about programming languages that are closer to the machine instructions. But there are a lot of different reasons for learning C for cybersecurity. Anyways, where are we going? So integer month, and then we need to, oh, why do I keep on typing L? We're also going to put in our message. So our message will be enter a month in number form and number format. And then we'll do our scanf to take in the user input. Take it as a decimal and assign it to month. Okay, and then we can do the huge switch statement. Okay, Randolph says C is easier to grasp as opposed to assembly. However, decompilers will reverse executables to assembly, which can be turned into pseudocode in C. Okay, so there are 31 days, so I guess we can do this as a giant switch statement. So do we do this as a giant switch statement, or we just have it like add the numbers? So we're assuming that we're dealing with the leap year. Use only switch for computing the sum of the days. Don't use any loops. Only the switch for computing the sum. We have to compute the sum of the days. So I guess we can do... Ultimately, we're just going to print out there are X number of days before the given month, right? So, Tattletale, I don't understand why you are talking about dogs in here. C philosophy is based on a dog? I don't know what you're talking about. So this would be like a printf statement. So there are there are digit days before a given month. Written the book of the person who created C. I'm not too sure. I'm not really too sure. I don't know who invented C. I think it was like Ken something, right? Ken something something? Let's look it up really quick. Okay, so who invented the C programming language? Okay, this is Dennis Ritchie. I was wrong. Okay, so it appears there should be a variable to capture the number of days before that month. Yeah. So we can initialize it over here. So integer days. So integer days and integers month. I guess we can also initialize it to 0. Kerrigan and Ritchie. Alright, so did they mention Kerrigan here? Key facts about the creation of C. Ritchie developed C. Okay. Oh, okay. An earlier typeless programming language called B, which was created by Ken Thompson. For some reason, I thought that Ken Thompson was the person who created C. So in 1978, Dennis Ritchie and Brian Kernighan published the C programming language, which served as the first official standard for the language. Is there philosophy? I mean, that's a... Is there a dog involved in the philosophy of C programming? No, there's no official or famous dog involved in the history, design, or philosophy of the C programming language. Where did you hear about dogs being involved in the philosophy of the C programming language, Tattletale? Because I don't see it. Anyways, okay. So days, and we'll do our switch statement over here. Okay, so case 1, case 1, case 2, case 3, etc., etc. So case 1, days equals 0. I mean, if we're doing like if we're doing it with an array, we could also do it with an array, right? So add 1, add 1 and 2, add 1, 2 and 3, that kind of thing. So I guess in this case, the better switch statement would be to do like case 12, and then go down in the list, right? Because days would be assigned to like 365. Okay, no worries, Tattletale. Nice to see you here. It's in a book he wrote. You talking about Ritchie? About Dennis Ritchie? So case 12, days equals no worries. Have a good time studying, Tattletale. So what do they want us to do? They want us to enter in the number of the month and then print out the number of days before this month since the start of the year. Use only switch for computing the sum of the days. The sum of the days, don't use any loops. Don't use any loops. You don't have to check whether or not a year is a leap year, assume it's a leap year. So we could do something on this. Days equals 365. And then we go down from here. So case 12, and then case 11, 10, 9. Okay, because we've got (11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and then a couple more. 3, 2, 1, and then there's a default case. So the default case is puts and then break. I guess what we need to do is we need to put the printf statement before, or we need to loop in the printf statement in the switch case. Okay, Randolph says, I'm thinking that the switch statement adds up the number of days before each month, but doesn't print the month. So the switch statement adds up the number of days before each month, but doesn't print the month. It just prints the number of days before the month. Oh, okay. So the default should print out the error message. So the error message is no such month in my calendar. So over here. And I guess the printf statement should be like an if statement as well. So if month, if month is not, what was it? If month is not less than 0, and month no, or month is greater than 12. So this is the check over here to see if we are going to print out this stuff, because otherwise we would have printed out the error message. So we only do the printf statement here if we didn't get the error message. So this is just to keep track of the days. So I guess we could also do like integer January, integer February, integer March, integer April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, Knob Door, hello, nice to see you here. What are we doing? So we're just doing some co-working right now. So we're hanging out. I'm working through a C programming course. You're free to study anything you want to. Basically, people hanging out, getting stuff done together, hopefully. And if you want to join me in my C studying, that's fine. If you want to talk about cybersecurity stuff, that's also fine. But that's what's going on in this live stream. Okay, so the integers here. Integer January is 31. February is 29. March is 31. Uzman Ahmad, hello, nice to see you. Which Linux distribution is this? I'm currently using Kali Linux. So this is a Kali Linux virtual machine that I'm working on right now. April is 30. May is 31. June is 30. July is 31. August 31, September 30, October 31. November 31. Just for fun, we'll do December 31. Okay, so let's see. So in case of December, days equals Jan plus Feb plus March plus April plus May plus June plus July plus September plus October plus November. And I'm just going to record this so I don't have to type it out over and over again. So we just delete November here. And then here we delete November and October. And then we just keep on going. Whoops. It sure is fun to code. Well, I mean, I have a lot of fun coding. I'm not being sarcastic when I talk about that. Sometimes coding tasks can be a bit tedious, but you know, it comes with the territory. I mean, I guess this is why we've got AI to help us learn to write code. Not necessarily AI to help us learn code. Well, we do use AI to help us learn code, but what is the word? So case 3 is March, so that's going to be, I think I missed one somewhere here. April, May, June, July, September, October, November. So in this case, so for 1, it should be January. This is 0. Hold on, what's the input again? So 2 should be January, okay. This should be January plus February. This should be January, February, and March. Where did I go wrong? Hold on. They've got one for December, right? They had 355 days. 355 days. So hold on. Am I going crazy here? How many days are there in a year? Days in a year? 365, right? 365. So why, in this program, when we put in 12, that it says 355 days? So one should say that there are 0 days before the given month. So 12 should be... It should not include December. I must have screwed up somewhere. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Oh, I forgot August. That's silly me. Silly me. That's a big typo. Just like this. Okay, so let's see. July, August. Plus September, plus October, plus November. So I need to insert August into all of these things. Okay, so July, add June here, add May here, add April here. Okay, so I think we're good now. All right, we'll try running the program, see if it works. You're using recursion to solve this. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to incorporate something a little bit more programmatic into this program instead of just doing a lot of rote memorization, I guess you could call it. Okay, so what's this? This is line 61. So if not month less than 0 or month greater than 12. Am I supposed to put it here? Okay, let's try that again. Hack smarter, not harder. Hey, Hack Smarter is Jace, ready the channel with 18 viewers. Hello, Raiders. Nice to see you here. And thank you for following Slayer. Thank you. Let's give a shout out to Hack Smarter. Hello everybody, my name's The Shy Hat. I am a cybersecurity educator on YouTube and on Twitch, and I'm currently learning about C programming because C programming has a lot to do with reverse engineering and binary exploitation, but welcome in Raiders. Hello. Hope you're having a good day. Let's give a good old hack the planet to Hack Smarter.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up again!
Okay, and if you're not following Hack Smarter has a cybersecurity education platform right over here, hacksmarter.org. So it's a great up-and-coming cybersecurity education platform which Do you get offended when someone eats a frog? No, I would not. I would not get offended. Why would I get offended? Okay, but yeah, HackSmarter is a great smaller scale platform, which is hoping to do the same kind of training and education that you'd find on a Try Hack Me or a Hack the Box, but with a very what is the word? But with a very real world emphasis. A lot of the training education modules on HackSmarter are inspired by real world vulnerabilities. Okay, I am the real guy. I haven't been here in a minute. Hello, nice to see you here. Frog legs are good eating. I mean, frog is not. Frog tastes pretty good if you have it done correctly. SysOS Master says a programmer would have made an array with all the values and an enum for the indexes with the month names, and use a loop until the index to get the values, but that's just how programmers think. I mean, the great thing about programming is that you can come up with a lot of different solutions. You can come up with a lot of different solutions to get your to solve different problems. But hey, HackSmarter viewers, let me know what was HackSmarter getting up to on his stream. Were they doing more Windows Active Directory stuff, or something else? Okay, hey Zaz, are you gonna do any binary exploitation CTFs tonight? Would love it, not gonna lie. I don't know if we're gonna be doing BinX CTF stuff tonight, because this is our co-working night, and well, I'm going to be working on my C programming course. We're eating the Shy Hat family. Active Directory again. John Doe, hello, nice to see you here, and thank you very much for letting me know about that. But Active Directory, it's a pretty common technology you find in network penetration tests, so it's important stuff. Shy Hat family, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. You can eat frogs. That's fine. Okay, let's run the program, see if it works. Ooh, still doesn't like 61. So the big switch statement. Oh, this is outside of the main function. This is why it doesn't work. No, it is still inside of the main function, but it's outside the switch case. Bro is a cannibal? Well, I mean, I don't eat frogs. Not on a regular basis, anyways. Okay, so what was the syntax? So if statement C syntax. If is not contained in a Okay, so one more time. So if condition, then code block. I mean, I guess we could put everything inside a code block as well. Are we not allowed to use the... Code block is not required, it's just convention. The anarchist, hello, nice to see you here. The colon. Hold on. Okay, so if... Oh, we don't use a colon? How do we separate it out then? No colon. Hello, anarchist. Nice to see you. Okay, let's try it again. You need the curly braces. Okay, so the curly braces, put one here, and then put one here. Now we're getting a different error, so this is 61. 61, error expected. Oh, I forgot to put a semicolon here. Okay. Picking up all of these syntax errors. Okay, so apparently I've constructed my if statement here incorrectly. No colon sounds like a personal problem, kind of. Okay, you can't have the exclamation point out of... Okay. So if not month less than 0 or month not month greater than 12. We'll give this a try. Okay, now it works. So enter a month in number format. So 1. So there are 0 days before the given month. Okay, so the program seems to be working now. Great. Great, great, great. Okay, and yeah, let's do the sample inputs. So we need to do 2, 31 days. Okay, and then we do 1, which would return 0. We've already done that one. Thank you very much for following, John Doe. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. There are 91 days before the given month. Okay, and then we got 12, 355. 12, 335 days before the given month. Okay, so what is this wrong? Or is my statement wrong? Okay, I am the real guy. Hello, nice to see you here. Can you subscribe? Do you want me to subscribe to your channel? I'm the real guy? What are we talking about? Okay, so take the logical negation of the month and compare it to 0. Probably not what you want. If month is less than 0, if not month is less than 0, because we want the print statement to go off if the month is valid, which means if the month is less than 0, then it shouldn't go off, or if the month is greater than 12, then it shouldn't go off. Okay, you likely want not month, but I mean, we tried. So something like this. Okay, I am the real guy, FR. Let me take a look at your channel on off screen real fast. What kind of channel do you run? I'm subscribed. So that's the logical negation of month compared. So are we... Well, I mean, I tried doing it outside of the if statement, but it didn't... It threw an error when I did that. Yeah. How about not using this at all? So let's see, what are we checking? So if... I mean, I guess in this case we would just do if month is... If month is greater than 0, and month is less than 13. So something like this. So we could do it without, yeah. Okay, we'll try running it. Okay, now it works. So we do 12. If month is greater than 0, so this, it looks like it froze. Yeah, it didn't return anything. Oh, no. Hold on. I got my less than and greater than signs mixed up again. If month is greater than 0 and month is less than 13. Yeah. I don't know why. I keep on mistaking the less than and greater than signs. 335 days. But it says here that it should say 355 days. But we know that there are 365 days in a year. So I don't know if this is the correct output. I'm going to assume that I'm correct, and that the math here is a little bit wonky. No such month in my calendar. Okay. Alright, we'll move on. So arrays, why? So there may come a time when you have to read, store, process, and finally print dozens, maybe hundreds, perhaps even thousands of numbers. What then? Must we declare a separate variable for each value? We will have to spend long hours writing long statements like this. Integer variable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you think this is a simple task, then we suggest you take a piece of paper and write a program that reads 5 numbers of type integer and prints them in order from the smallest to the largest. So this is called sorting. We don't think your piece of paper will be big enough for the task. So far we've declared variables which can store exactly one given value at a time. These variables are called scalars, analogous to mathematical terms. Okay, or use malloc, maybe. John Doe says, you say that you're learning C because you want to learn reverse engineering. I'm also looking to learn reverse engineering. I was thinking that C was different from normal front web-end web languages, but from I see you're doing right now, it looks very similar to me. Am I wrong? I mean, I'd say that C has a lot in common with a lot of other programming languages, because a lot of other programming languages are evolved from C. So if I were to ask the very simple question, what programming languages are derived or are descendants of C? So we probably get a lot of them. So let's see. So the C family of languages are C++, Java, JavaScript, C#, Python, PHP. A lot of programming languages were built on top of C. All variables we've used so far have actually been scalars. So think of how convenient it would be if we could declare a variable that can store more than one value. For example, 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 values. It would still be one and the same variable, but very wide and extensive. Does that sound appealing? Perhaps. But how would we handle all of these different values? How would it choose just the one we need? So John Doe, I mean, if you want to learn reverse engineering, I'd say that there's a very good website for learning reverse engineering in particular. It's called Pwn College. I don't cover a lot of stuff from Pwn College because they don't let people show how to do their exercises on here. Perhaps surprised that D was left out. I've never heard of D. Is it like better than C? It is D though. No worries, I'm the real guy. I'm here to help. D is not well used. I mean, there must have been something that that D fulfilled, right? Okay, should we just number them? We'll say give me the value number 2, assign the value number 15, increase the value number 10,000. Maybe, what do you think? We'll show you how to declare these multi-value variables. We'll do this with the example that we suggested before. We'll try to write a program that sorts a sequence of integers, but we won't be particularly ambitious right now. We'll assume that there will be 5 numbers. No worries, I am the real guy, FR. I mean, I was in your shoes maybe, how many years ago? Maybe 3 years ago. I was a very small YouTube channel, and I was happy to get like 1 or 2 subscribers, but it all takes time. It's time and consistency. Cold Wind Who says, I've always had an interest in exploit development, but been too lazy to take action in terms of learning and becoming proficient in C and understanding assembly for reverse engineering. Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to write your exploits in C, but there are other programming languages that are becoming more popular for malware development, but I'd say that understanding C and basics of assembly languages, it's pretty important to understand the foundations. Okay, we'll read this record as follows. We'll create a variable called numbers. It's intended to store 5 values. Note the number enclosed inside brackets of type int, which we know from the keyword int at the beginning of the declaration. Let's say the same thing using the appropriate terminology. Numbers is an array consisting of 5 values of type int. Since such an array is called a vector in mathematical terms, we'll also say that this statement declares an int vector of size equal to 5. All of the elements of the array have the same type. There are no exceptions to this rule. There are other programming languages which allow the use of arrays with elements of various types, but C is not one of them. It's not, you might think, a troublesome limitation, and it can be effectively avoided if necessary. However, this is a very complex subject, and you'll have to wait some time for the solution to this puzzle. So it's time for a bit of intrigue. The C language adopted the convention that the elements in an array are numbered starting from 0. So C is who we have to blame for counting from 0 in arrays. This means that the item stored at the beginning of the array will have the number 0. Since there are 5 elements in our array, the last one will have the number 4. So I'm the real guy says, doing random things, just figuring out. Baldi's Basics video got hit by Kappa. Baldi's Basics? Oh, are you talking about... Are you talking about the Baldi adware program, like the monkey, the purple monkey? Okay, SysOS Master says D is C++ reimagined. It has some niche advantages in specific use cases, but most often higher level languages are an better abstraction to use. Oh, okay. But I guess if you're talking about Baldi, then people might mistake it for something that's aimed at kids, which can get you in trouble with stuff like Kappa, right? Before we go any further, we have to note the following. Our vector is a collection of elements, but each element is a scalar. Okay, so inside of our array, the parts of the array are each called elements. So element 1, or element 0, element 1, element 2, etc., etc. Okay, well, let's continue. So how do we assign a value to the chosen element of the array? So let's assign the value 111 to the first element of the array. We do it this way. So numbers element 0 is 111. We need a value stored in the third element of the array and we want to assign it to the variable I. This is how we can do it. So I equals numbers 2. Numbers 2. Okay, and then we want a value of the fifth element in an array to be copied to the second element. Can you guess how we do it? So elements 1 equals elements 4. So the value inside the brackets, which selects one element of the vector, is called the index, while the operation of selecting an element from the array is known as indexing. Okay, let's see. John Doe says almost everything in all the languages that are numbered always start from 0 instead of 1. I mean, is it C that started it all, though? SysOS Master says, C is not why we count from 0, it's due to assembly, where the array is a macro that multiplies the size to get a memory offset. To get the first element, you need a 0 offset plus base address to get it. Ah, okay. So we're not blaming C for the 0 indexing. Okay, note all the indices we've used so far have been literals. Their values are fixed at runtime, but any expression could be the index too. This opens up a lot of possibilities. Okay, so the purpose of the code is to calculate and print the sum of the values in the numbers array. The provided array initialization is just an example, and you should replace it with your actual data if you have a specific set of numbers to sum. So the line integer numbers element 5 sum equals 0 I. What's happening here? So integer numbers element 5 and then sum equals 0 and then I. So these are three separate declarations. So there's numbers, there's sum, and there's I. So these declare an array named numbers with the size of 5, then it declares an integer variable sum and initializes it to 0. This variable will be used to store the sum of array elements. Also, it declares an integer variable I for the loop counter. So the line integer numbers 5 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 initializes the numbers array with some values, in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You should replace these values with the actual numbers you want to sum, then the loop. Okay, for I equals 0, I less than, I greater than 5, no, I less than 5, I iterates, sorry, I, what is the word, increments? Sum plus equals numbers I. So use a for loop to iterate over each element of the numbers array. Add each element's value to the sum variable. Finally, the line printf the sum of all the numbers is. Sum prints the final sum of the array's elements using printf. Okay, so let's take a closer look at this. So int numbers 5. So int numbers 5, so the initialization says that this is an array with 5 elements. And that's equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Integer sum equals 0 and I. Okay, so we have an integer, a sum variable, and an I variable. Okay, Mathsmogger67. Hello, nice to see you here. What is up? We're learning about C programming language here. Okay, let's go ahead and run the program. So the sum of the numbers is 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total them all together, that's 15. Great. So the next task is to assign the same value, for example 2012, to all the elements of the array. The next task is to assign the same value to all the elements of the array. So for I equals 0, I is less than 5, I iterates, numbers I, that is the element, is equal to 2012. So I guess this program was written back, I guess this course was written back in 2012, or at least published. So it was more than a decade ago, huh? Okay, now let's try to rearrange the elements of the array, that is, reverse the order of the elements. Let's swap around the first and fifth, as well as the second and fourth elements. The third one we'll leave untouched. However, the question is, how do we swap the values of two variables? Let's take a look at the snippet in the editor. If we do something like this, we would lose the value stored previously in variable 2. So what do we have? So integer, variable 1, 1, variable 2, 2. Variable 2 equals variable 1, variable 1 equals variable 2. We would lose the value stored previously in variable 2. So variable 2 equals 2, variable 2 equals variable 1. Ah, okay. So if we're going... So at this point, is it? Double slash, right? Double slash is the comment in C. Variable 2's original value is lost. Variable 1 equals variable 2. Variable 2 has variable 1's value. Okay, we need another variable to swap them around. Yeah, we need a temp variable. Yeah. Changing the order of the assignments won't help us. Unfortunately, we need a third variable that serves as an auxiliary storage. Okay, look at the editor. This is how we do it. So variable 1 equals 1, variable 2 equals 2, auxiliary. So auxiliary equals variable 1, variable 1 equals variable 2, variable 2 equals auxiliary. Okay, that makes sense? We don't know how you feel. We don't know how you feel. Are you a therapist? But we definitely do not like this. It's acceptable with an array of 5 elements, but with 99 elements, it certainly wouldn't work. Okay, so auxiliary equals numbers element 0, numbers 0 equals numbers 4, numbers 4 equals auxiliary, and then swap elements 2 and 4, auxiliary equals numbers 1, numbers 1 equals numbers 3, numbers 3 equals auxiliary. So, I mean, there's got to be like a more elegant way to do this. I mean, I guess we could also, like, maybe we could make another copy of the array. Let's employ the services of a for loop. Look carefully at how we manipulate the values of the indices. So during the first turn of the loop, the I variable will be equal to 0. So the instructions in the body will perform the following operations. So auxiliary equals numbers 0, numbers 0 equals numbers 4, numbers 4 equals auxiliary. At the second turn, I will be equal to 1, so auxiliary equals numbers 1, numbers 1 equals numbers 3, numbers 3 equals auxiliary. So as you can see, the loop does the same job by shortening the source code and making it more readable. So I guess we can, if you use a for loop like this, then you could make the array as large as you want and still get the same kind of result, right? You need a place to store the temp value during the overwrite. Okay, so familiarize the student with arrays printing on screen. The Fibonacci sequence is a series of natural numbers built up using this simple formula. The first Fibonacci number is equal to 1. The second Fibonacci number is equal to 1, 2. The third, fourth, and every subsequent Fibonacci number is equal to the sum of the two previous numbers. So this means that the first 5 Fibonacci numbers look as follows. So 1, 1, and then 2, and then 2 plus 1, which is 5, and then 2 plus 3, no, 2 plus 1, which is 3, and then 2 plus 3, which is 5. Write a program that prints this Fibonacci sequence, and two of its subsequent numbers. It should print the first 10 numbers from the Fibonacci sequence. Then it should print only the odd numbers, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. After that, only the even numbers, 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th. Your version of the program must print the same result as the expected output. Okay, blank delta. Were you having some trouble printing out some, leaving some messages? Hold on. Oh, you know what? I think the YouTube system might have flagged the word portswigger because it's kind of similar to a bad word. But blank delta, yeah. Making an account over at portswigger is probably a good idea if you want to eventually do web app security testing. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should print the first 10 numbers from the Fibonacci sequence. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then just the odd number ones, and then just the even number ones. Okay. Blank delta. I mean, yeah, it flags on portswigger because it's kind of similar to a bad word. Anyways, just put them in printf. The task says print, not calculate in print. Sculptoroid. Hello, nice to see you here. How are you doing? So just put them in printf. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could, at the end of the program, we would printf. So I guess we would put the printf statement inside of a loop as well, right? Because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. So for something something printf. Printf I. Snollygoster, hey, hello, nice to see you here. YouTube is not hacker friendly. Anyways, wow, we don't do that. Snollygoster, hey, I'm not too sure what do we not do? What do we not do? Okay, so Fibonacci numbers, right? So we need to calculate the Fibonacci numbers first. Integer fib is an array of 10 numbers. An array of 10 numbers. Okay, and then we have to initialize I. But we're not necessarily going to be switching stuff around, right? Getting ready for work? Oh wow, it must be really early where you are, yeah. Calculate the Fibonacci sequence and do it correctly, man. It ain't that hard. Yeah, we're gonna try to get it done. Okay, so the Fibonacci array is an array of 10 numbers. So I guess we would do this inside like a loop as well, right? Okay, you should make a function instead with recursion. It would be easier. Fibonacci needs recursion to make it effectively. He suggested to just print the result which is in the output already instead of actually calculating it. Oh, I mean, we wouldn't just print this out. It doesn't. We should be calculating it. Yeah. We need to find some. So for it's like I and then what was it? I less than 11. I iterates. Okay, so we would do fib I equals. Line Delta says, I spend more time researching vocabulary than actually learning because of the tutorials. I mean, when you start off, you're gonna be encountering a lot of jargon, a lot of terms you've never seen before. Oh, for I equals 0. Sorry, I'm not super used to coding in C, so I need to become more literate at it. I needs to be 0, otherwise it just contains junk. Okay, so I equals 0, I is less than 11, I iterates. Fibonacci I is going to be so let's see. So the first two numbers in the Fibonacci sequence are both going to be 1. So afterwards, well, I mean, the third number is the sum of the two previous numbers. Okay, you probably easiest to set up first 2 ones manually. It doesn't because it doesn't generally otherwise. So do it manually? So I guess if we're doing it manually, then fib 0 equals 1, and then fib 1 equals 1, and then we would do the loop. We do the loop, and in this case, we're only going to be doing it 8 times, so I less than 9. Actually, I guess we could initialize I as 3, or we could initialize I as 2, and we'll still do I less than 11. Yeah. That seems to be the best way to do it. So Fibonacci I equals I plus fib I the Fibonacci of I minus 1. Now how do we do this? Is it my minus 1 in here? Yeah, it should be like this, right? Okay, Blank Delta asks, how long did it take you to learn hacking before you got your first job? My first job in cybersecurity, I suppose you're talking about? It took me about 1.5 years? Was it 1.5 years? Let me think about this. Yeah, it was something like 18 months. Okay, so fib I equals I plus fib I minus 1. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna populate it correctly? Okay, what was your first job if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, no, I mean, I've got my resume over here. I wouldn't call it super impressive, but it did get me enough experience to understand the cybersecurity pen testing consultancy. What is the word? It got me a feel for pen testing consultancy companies and what kind of work the people do. And it really got me thinking that I should be doing education instead. And that's one of the reasons why I do education on YouTube. No, it won't work, but let's try it and see. Okay, so Fibonacci I is going to be I plus Fibonacci element I minus 1. No, is it minus 1? The previous element. So the previous element should be I minus 1. I guess we could also just try printing out the contents of the array. Actually, is there an easy way to print out an entire array? See, print out contents of array. You've been learning for 2 months? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You need to take some good notes and basically expose yourself to all of the special terms in cybersecurity. Print out the contents of an array. You must loop through its elements and print each one individually using printf. C does not have a built-in function to print an entire array at once. So just do... Oh, size of, huh? Okay. Integer length equals size of array divided by size of array 0. Okay, and then loop through each index and print the value. Okay, let's give this a shot. So after we do the loop, we'll try printing out the contents of the array. So for I, integer I equals 0, I mean, we've already declared I. I is less than length, I iterates, printf array I. But this is not called array, it's called fib. There's no easy way to do anything in C. In C, you are on your own. Okay, I'm just uploading a TF2 video right now. TF2. Okay, so let's try running the program. Ah, okay. Looks like we got some errors. So 14. Oh, array. Yeah, okay, okay. This is not called array, it's called fib. Okay. So this is number 20. I think we've got an extra... Yeah, we've got an extra parentheses. You can redeclare their integer I equals 0 again. It's probably better practice to do so in case you later change the I above. Okay, run it. Smack stashing detected? What? I didn't try to smash any stacks. Okay. Fibonacci array equals 10 elements. I didn't try to smash any stacks. Length equals size of fib divided by size of fib element 0. For I, print fib I. Stack smashing. How did I... What is wrong with my code? Stack smashing detected. Unknown terminated. Okay, so the last, the array has a fixed length and you can track the current last entry with the variable. What's the largest element index in integer fib 10? What's the largest element index? So fib 10, it should be, oh, you know what? I mean, it is 10 items, right? So it should be 9. So it's 0 to 9. But when we initialize it, we put in the number of elements in the array, isn't it? And what's the loop? What's the for loop? So the for loop is until I is less than 11. Does size of get the numbers of bytes instead of the actual value? I mean, I did what the good old AI told us to do, but maybe this is not the way to do it. But for boilerplate stuff like this, it shouldn't get this stuff wrong. Rincasso, hello, nice to see you here. Hope you're having a good day. We're just trying to learn some C programming language. So I equals, so up to 10. Oh. Hold on. So it thought I was trying to smash the stack? Ah, okay, okay. So it looks like we've got the correct Fibonacci numbers in here. Maybe these are not correct, because apparently it should be 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 1. Yeah, these are the wrong numbers. Hold on. So fib I equals 2, so the third object in the array. I is less than 10, I iterates. Fibonacci I equals I plus Fibonacci, so I starts at 2. And it should be getting... Drags, hello, nice to see you here. Why learning... Why are we learning code? What is it used for? So, okay, let's go back. Where was it? Here? Why learn C for cybersecurity? So most major operating systems are written with C. So Linux was written with C, Windows was written with C and C++. Reverse engineering tools decompile binaries into pseudo C code, so we need to understand C to do reverse engineering. And reverse engineering is a pretty major specialization inside of cybersecurity. So to understand what the reverse engineering tools are giving us, we have to understand what C code does and what it looks like. So C is also important for teaching hacking concepts like integer overflow and buffer overflow in C compiled binaries. So a lot of operating system binaries were compiled using C. So this is, well, or using C or C++, which are related. So for example, a lot of Linux binaries or Linux system binaries, and also a lot of Windows binaries. So for some, if you wanted to hack any of these binaries for some reason, you'd have to understand the language that was used to create them, in which case C is pretty good thing to know. Okay, the first element to the Fibonacci sequence is 0. No worries, no worries. We're here to answer questions where we can. So let's see, the first element to the Fibonacci sequence is 0. The first element to the Fibonacci sequence is 0. So we're dealing with this part right here. So Fibonacci element 0 is 1. So we just manually do these two, right? And then for all the other ones, it has to be... Oh, okay. It's not I, it's the previous two. It's the previous two. So it's going to be fib I minus 1 and then fib I minus 2 put together. So it should be 1 1 2 1 1. Yeah, okay. Let's see if this works. Okay, recursive step for any n greater than 1, return the sum of the two preceding items, so Fibonacci n minus 1 plus Fibonacci n minus 2. Yes, I think I understand that now. Okay, Hayes says you should definitely try out Narnia on Over the Wire and Pwnable.kr after you learn C fundamentals. I'd love to watch that. It teaches how C actually works, understanding under the hood too, which is cool. Yeah, so I mean, another majorly a very good resource for learning about C and reverse engineering and binary exploitation are the courses over at Pwn College, which I can't cover because they don't want people to publish the solutions to their problems. But I respect the heck out of these people nonetheless. Okay. Run the program. What? So C11. Expected... Did I miss one of my... Oh, okay, I did. This is incorrect. It should be like this. Silly typos. Okay, now we've got the correct sequence. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 35. 13, 21, 34, 35. Love these late night streams. I mean, I like the timing of the late night streams. Just wait a couple of minutes, it's uploading. Were we talking about the Team Fortress 2 video? Okay, so what do we need to do with the rest of this program? So it should print the first 10 numbers from the Fibonacci sequence. Then it should print only the odd numbers. Then it should only print the odd numbers, 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th, and 9th. And after that, only the even numbers, 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th. So I mean, we can modify this. So print the Fibonacci number and then... Whoops. Print the Fibonacci number. And then a line break. And then we do the same thing, except we're doing it for only the odd numbers. Randolph says, thanks for the stream. Time to hit the hay. Hope you have a good rest, Randolph. And I hope to see you next time. Hey, it's Rama. I like the late night streams, but I like to early morning gym. No worries, no worries. If you can't catch the stream, you can't catch the stream. It's fine. It's fine. I appreciate you tuning in nonetheless. Okay, so I guess we just need to wrap this up in a big like if statement. So if I modulo 2, what are we doing? Print only the odd numbers. So if not I modulo, do we put this in another? So if not I modulo 2, then print F, right? Okay, are you sure that fib 0 equals 1? Okay, Anarchist says, why use an if? The C syntax is powerful enough. Which C syntax? So I'm guessing the print statements would print if modulo 2 or not modulo 2. No, according... Okay, so we do the first loop, which just prints out the Fibonacci numbers. The second loop has to print out the Fibonacci numbers if they're odd. I mean, the easier way to understand this would be if I modulo 2 is equal to 1, then print the thing out, right? Change I++ to I plus equals 2. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do that. We could skip every other one, right? Yeah, that actually makes sense. So we could do I equals 0, and then I doesn't iterate, it's I plus equals 2. So that would be for... print the odd numbers, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th, and then the even numbers. and then we run like a third loop, and the third loop starts at I equals 1, and the same thing. Okay, at least I think this is how we're supposed to do it. And then we run the loop. What do we get? 1, 3, 8, 21. Wait. Okay, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, and then we print 1, 2, 5, 13, 34, and then we print 1, 3, 8, 21, 55. Okay, so it works. This is the exact output they're looking for. Okay, we can move on. Level of difficulty easy. Familiarize the student with arrays, character type, the for loop, printing on screen. So write a program that fills a 26 element array with letters from A to Z. Okay, so try not to use the int type, but only the char type for variables. When the array is filled, the program should print all the characters in reverse order, then print only the array elements that constitute the word great. Figure out the simplest way to find out which element should be used. Your version of the program must print the same result as the expected output. So we've got Z, Y, okay, so everything backwards until A. Huh. It doesn't print out the letter A. But it does print out the word great. Should print out all the characters in reverse order, then print only the array elements that constitute the word great. So is there an error in their program here? Or in the output? Because it doesn't have the letter A. Okay. Let's go ahead and write some code. So integer array, so we'll call this alphabet. Or I guess we can call this letters. How about alphabet? It's a little bit more descriptive. So there's 26 letters. And we declare it over here. So we also need to declare an I integer because we're going to be running some loops. So we'll run a loop for so we also need to declare some characters, right? Try not to use the int type, but only the character type variables. Well, I mean, the array has to be an integer, right? Does the array have to be an integer type? Hold on. No, C arrays do not have to be the integer type. Okay, an array can be created from any data type, including characters. Oh, okay. Any type for the array? Yeah, okay. So that means that we should declare this as a character array. Oh, this is how we create strings. The indexes are always the integers, though. Okay. So this is a character array. When the array is filled, the program should print all the characters in reverse order. Reverse order. So here's where we do our for loop, which for I equals 0, and then I is less than, it's less than 26, and then I iterates. Alpha I equals equals I. Okay, and a character array is basically the string type in C. It's a little, actually it's a little bit more complicated, but fine for now. So alpha I equals I. And then we'll just try printing it out first, just to make sure that it works out. Wow, Anonymous has gifted a tier 1 subscription on Twitch to Cux. Hello, nice to see us. Nice to see you here. Hello, nice to see you. All right, let's go ahead and give a fun Hack the Planet. Thank you very much.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up and get in.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're trying to say that you don't like C. Okay, I understand. Anyways, let's do this for another 60 minutes, and then we'll see where we're at after 60 minutes. I mean, you can not like C, but it's I guess it would be unfortunate for you that
Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up and get in.
that there's a lot of computing that is built on top of C. But thank you very much for the subscription. Thank you. Okay, so for well, I mean, if we know the length of the array, then we don't need the length variable, right? We don't need to calculate the length. So I equals 0, I less than 26, I iterates. We printf a character, and characters are C, right? Okay, hope this works. Okay, so I am the real guy. Which time zone do you live in right now? Is it CST, like what you're talking about? Okay, so this is line 10. Ah, okay. Forgot to put my semicolon there. Huh, nothing happened. For I equals 0, I less than 26, I iterates printf C alpha I. So did this not... I guess my first for loop didn't populate I properly, because nothing prints out. Yeah, nothing happens. maybe we need to cast this character I. Expected expression before character, alpha I equals character I. Maybe put some printable characters in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks like everything's blank. So it's not actually populating the character array with anything, or the alpha array. So let's see. We need to print it as an integer first just to see the values. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, okay. So it is... Oh, you know what? I think it might be because these characters are non-printable. So these are non-printable characters. What we need to do is we need to... When we do the population of these characters, we need to start them at the printable ASCII characters. So let's see, ASCII lowercase letters code points. You need to add A plus I should work. Okay, let's give it a go. So A plus I. Okay, so they'll become A and then B and then C. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this back to letters. Run it again. Ah, okay. Now we've got our character array. So A until Z, or Z, whatever you like. So they want us to print it out backwards, though. So what's the best way to print out this out backwards? So for I equals 26, I is greater than 0. Then I decrements. Print out the character. Yeah, this might work. But it doesn't work because we've got the ampersand here at the beginning. Okay, we don't want the ampersand. We like Z reminds us of Z, the game with the robots. Z, the game with the robots? Okay, so we managed to try... Well, we're trying to print this out backwards, but unfortunately we've got... So I is 25 then, maybe? Okay, so I is 25, not 26. The video game Z, or Z. Alright. Alright, so we've got... So the question is, why doesn't... I guess if we did, like... I is less than or equal to 0. I mean, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for z until b. In the expected output, it's z until b, and then print out the word for great. But if we want to include a, then we would do it like this. So greater than or equal to 0. And that gets us our a. And they also want us to print out great, G-R-E-A-T. So what's the best way to do that? Yeah, and they also want us to do the line breaks in the output. So stuff that looks like this. Print great. Well, I mean, they what do they say up here? Then print only the array elements that constitute the word great. Figure out the simplest way to find out which element should be used. Figure out the simplest way to find out which element should be used. So I mean, do we use a big like if statement here? We pick them from the array? That's nasty. So I mean, so if G, then if R, and then if E. I mean, it's not an... if I equals 0, do great printing. Now, how do we do it in order? Because we can't do it in alphabetical order. If we do it by place in the alphabet, then like A is element 0, E is element 5, I think. A, B, C, D, E, that's element 5, and then G, and then T. Anarchist says print F, C, C, alpha, G to A, alpha, R to A. Really? Is this the best way to do it? Well, I mean, we're trying to figure out the simplest way to find out which element should be used. I mean, we could do 5 loops, right? Loop through everything and then look for that one specific letter. But that's not super simple. You could pre-calculate the indexes and but why when C does it for you? So for I-25, I increments, well, we would go, we could still do it like this. Alpha 5. I mean, the easiest way to do it, yeah. The easiest way is just pre-calculate the indexes. Still vibing, good stream. Thank you, I'm the real guy. Trying to learn. Pre-calculate the indexes. I guess we could also do like character array, right? So character great, which has 5 elements. Declare it over here. And then like populate it. only people here, but admins and Shyhat. Are you talking about on YouTube? How many people we got on YouTube? No, I mean we got a good number of people on YouTube. It's just that not everybody's chatting is all. So I guess we could... What do they want from us here? There's a couple of ways we could do this, like populating... How do we print out great? We could create a character array. Run 5 loops to populate the array. All the ways seem kind of silly here, so not sure that there really is a best way. Yeah. So create the character array, run 5 loops to populate the array with the letters for great. And then run a loop that prints out the letters. Printf great is really the best way. Printf great is really the best way. Maybe. I mean, I guess. Yeah, you know what? It's gonna take a long time to figure out how to do that. Actually, you know what? Let's just try populating the great character array with 5 loops. So if I equals G, if I equals G, then do something. So great 0 equals I, and then do the following for the other letters. It is not super elegant. Okay, then repeat over and over again, but this time R, and then element 1. And then E, element 2. You know, it is so much easier to study when you've got good music on the background.
Hide the planet! Hide the planet! Shut up again!
Okay, just store the values in the one array once, then use a lookup list. How would we implement that? EA3 then 4, then T. Like hack the planet, Character great equals great should work. I mean, well. Okay, so the last thing we want to do, so these are the 5 loops that populate the great character array, and then we would print them out, right? For I equals 0. For int I equals 0, I is less than... I is less than 5, I iterates. Printf a character. That's great I. Oh man, it's so janky. Okay, so this is 40. Expected declaration of statement, end of input. Declaration of statement at end of input. Where? So this is line 18. Ah, okay. I forgot to put in my semicolons. Hey everybody, if you're using C, you need to put in semicolons at the end of every one of your statements. Otherwise it's not going to go through. Just posted redeem I'm root. Yeah, I mean, it should have worked.
What are you?
I'm system root.
Okay, so let's see if it works now. Huh, still getting errors. So this is line 40. Expected declaration or statement at end of input. Okay. So int main, we just need to make sure that our stuff lines up. We don't have any extra curly brackets. Okay, I'm the real... Oh, there it works. It works. Awesome.
I'm system root.
Oh, okay. We're missing some curly brackets. Okay, all right. Is that a curly bracket on line 19? Maybe. Corbonzo, hello, nice to see you here. You're doing I equals G, not I. Oh, you know what? You're right. We also need to do the direct comparisons, right? So if I is equal to over here. So we got to use the double equal signs. This is what debugging's all about. And I think... Huh. The funny thing is that it didn't print out the characters properly. So at the end here, hold on. Oops. Why is it? Okay. What is in grape? I think you have an endless loop. Yeah, I think we might have an endless loop going on. Okay, let's re-examine what's going on here. So for I equals 0, yeah, okay. I less than 5. Sorry, this is another case of me mixing up the greater than and less than signs. That's why it was having some problems. But it still seems to be an infinite loop though. So I equals 0. Well, let's not declare this integer again, maybe. I less than 5. I iterates. Print great I. Well, let's just try printing out the digits first. The last loop looks fine. I checked the others. So it prints out... yeah, So this is where we check for... This is where we populate the great character array. So if I equals G, I guess we should probably do this as, oh, this is increment, but it should be decrement. Yeah, okay. So we can do 25 and we can do less than or equal to 0, but we need to decrement instead of increment for these loops. If we increment, then the loop is an endless loop. It is getting kind of late over here. I'll blame them on that. Oh wait, no, this last one has to increment. Okay, 1 and then 0, 0, 0, 0. That's kind of weird. Okay, so if we print it out as a character, it doesn't print out as a character. So the contents of the array are 1 and then 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, print the grade I. So grade 4 equals I is wrong. If I is equal to t, so do we need to... It's storing the index that we found, not the value. Ah, okay. If... Oh, right. Okay, so we need to do like alphabet I. So alphabet I over and over again over here as well. If I plus A equals T. Is that the way we do it? Let me try this first and see if it gets us any closer to what we want. Okay. I mean, we've got some different values in here, but then I can't tell if these are actual, like, printable characters. Alpha I is right for comparison, but great 0 equals I is still wrong. Okay. Yeah, so these are non-printable characters, right? So equals... So it's supposed to be A plus I? So from what I understand, it asks you to print the index of the array that wants to write the word great. Yeah. You stored the indexes you found still. So we stored the indexes. We could use the indexes to retrieve the value from alpha. Oh man, this was supposed to be simple. So print the character, which is supposed to be like alpha. So alpha, great I. Print great would be much cleaner. It would be. Okay, we got it to work, finally. But that was pulling teeth. That was some real teeth pulling. But we got there in the end. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to use print it out using variables. It's okay. We learned something, or at least I hope we learned something. We can move on to the next thing. Sorting an array. So if we can effectively juggle the elements of arrays, it's time to get on with sorting. This is a serious issue, and many sorting algorithms have been invented so far, which differ a lot in terms of speed as well as complexity. We're going to show you a very simple algorithm, easy to understand, but unfortunately not too efficient. It's used very rarely and certainly not for large and extensive arrays. The array can be sorted in two ways: increasing, or more precisely, not decreasing, if in every pair of adjacent elements the former element is not greater than the latter, and decreasing, or more precisely, not increasing, decreasing, that is, not increasing, if in every pair of adjacent elements the former element is not less than the latter. In the following sections, we're going to sort the array in increasing order so that the numbers will be ordered from the smallest to the largest. So here's our array. Okay, we've got the numbers. We'll try to use the following approach. We'll take the first and second elements and compare them. If we determine that they're in the wrong order, the first is greater than the second, we'll swap them around. And if they're in the right order, we'll do nothing. A glance at our table confirms the second condition: the elements number 1 and 2 are in the proper order. Okay, now look at the second and third elements. They're in the wrong positions. We have to swap them around. Let's do it. We can go further and look at the third and fourth elements. Again, this is not what it's supposed to be like. We have to swap them around. So these two elements are swapped. And then these two elements are swapped, and then these two elements are swapped. It looks... Yeah, so this doesn't look like a very efficient way to do it. Okay, that's why I suggested printf character alpha ag minus a, alpha r minus a. It indexes, but it doesn't do silly searches. Okay. So it looks like we're just going to be doing a lot of swapping numbers around and then going through this over and over again in loops. Or alpha 6 instead of alpha g minus a if you want to be a chump and not let C do the math. Okay, the first pass through the array is complete. We're still far from finishing our job, but something curious has happened in the meantime. The largest element, 10, has gone to the end of the array. Note that this is where we want it. All the remaining elements from a picturesque mess, but this one is already at home, okay? So now for a moment, try to imagine this array in a slightly different way, namely this. Let's make this a little bit smaller. 10, 8, 2, 6, okay? So look, 10 is at the top. We could say that it floated up from the bottom to the surface, just like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. The sorting method derives its name from the same observation. It's called the bubble sort. Bubble sorting, okay? We had a quick break with the glass of champagne, but it's time to get back to sorting. We do it with pleasure starting from the second pass through the array. We look at the first and second elements. We need to swap. Second is second and third elements. Okay, and then we need to swap them again. The second pass is finished and 8 is already in place. We start the next pass immediately. Watch the first and second elements carefully. Yes, it's time for a swap. Okay, we need to swap these. Now 6 wants to find its place. We'll help and swap it with the second and third elements. Okay, hey look, the array is already sorted. We have nothing more to do. This is exactly what we wanted. As you can see, this algorithm is simple. We compare the adjacent elements and we swap them, and by swapping some of them we achieve our goal. So in the C language, we try to code all actions performed during a single pass through the array, and then we consider how many passes we actually need to perform. We haven't studied this yet, but we'll discuss it more a little later below. Okay. So how many passes do we need to sort the entire array? We answered this by doing the following. We introduce another variable. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. It's tasked to observe if any swap was done during the pass or not. If there is no swap, then the array is already sorted and nothing more has to be done. We declare a variable called swapped, and we assign a value of 1 to it to indicate that there were no swaps. Otherwise, it will be assigned 1. So swapped, did we do any swaps? 0 means we didn't, 1 means we did. Okay, so what's going on in this code? Integer numbers array 5. Integer I, variable for the loop. Integer auxiliary variable for swaps. So we need 5 minus 1 comparisons. Why? 5 minus 1 comparisons. So for I equals 0, I less than 4, I increments. Compare adjacent elements. If numbers I is greater than numbers I plus 1. So if we went here, it means that we have to swap what? The elements. Auxiliary equals numbers I equals numbers I plus 1, and then numbers equals I plus 1 equals auxiliary. Okay, so this was the third temporary value, right? Auxiliary. You shouldn't have any problem reading or understanding the program. Okay, 5 number array, I in auxiliary. swapped, do something, decide if we need to continue the loop. Do swapped equals 0. If no swap occurred yet, do swapped equals 0. For I equals 0, I less than 4, I iterates. Sorry, I increments. If numbers I is greater than numbers I plus 1, swapped equals 1. So that means we made a swap. Auxiliary equals numbers I equals numbers I plus 1, numbers I plus 1 equals auxiliary, while swapped. So while swapped is not equal to... while swapped is equal to 1. Okay, look at the editor. You can see a complete program there, enriched by the conversation with the user and allowing the user to enter and print elements of the array. Bubble sort final version, okay? Numbers 5, integer I, auxiliary, swapped. Ask the user to enter 5 values. For I equals 0, I less than 5, I increments. Printf, enter value. Enter value. Number I, new line, I plus 1. Okay. Scanf as an integer into numbers I. Sort them. So after we take in all of our user input, we swap. Do swapped equals 0 for I. So do while swapped. The bubble sort, which is this stuff over here. Print results. Sorted array. For I equals 0, I less than 5, I increments. Print the number. Okay, let's try out the program. Enter value 1, 99. Enter value 2, 7. Enter value 3, 0. Enter value 4, 17. Enter value 5, 6, 7. Sorted array. 0, 7, 17, 6, 7, 99. Okay, great. Yeah, seems to work. Next. Bubble sort final version. The bubble sort final version. Isn't this the same as the previous one? Okay. Okay, now we need to do this ourselves, huh? Comparing elements in arrays, floating point numbers, printing on screen. So write a program that sorts 10 floating point numbers in descending order. In this case, the data in the array is initialized. See the code in your editor. After each execution of the inner loop, your program should print the values on the screen with another smaller loop. You can use the %2f format in the printf function. Brother, hello, nice to see you here. I follow this community at Reddit and Twitch. Respect the discipline of you. I want to know, where do I start learning C? I want to start preparing for the OSED. Where do you want to start learning C? So there's a few different places where you could learn C. So you can take this course that I'm doing right now over here. There's also some other places where you might want to look. So in the education resources over here for cybersecurity that I'm curating, there's a bunch of stuff I have for programming languages. Where is it? Here. Okay, so C Essentials 1 and 2 is what we're doing right now. But there's also Exorcism that you can try. So Exorcism, here's the link. It's a very good platform for practicing different programming problems. So you could do Exorcism. You could also try using Codecademy. They've got quite a few C programming courses there as well. W3 schools, and maybe you could also try doing LeetCode. So LeetCode, I'm pretty sure LeetCode has a section for C. So the LeetCode problems they're system agnostic. They're basically asking you to do a bunch of like what are they called again? Something you've written notes, right? And so hi, hello, nice to see you here. What kind of notes are you talking about? So if you go to any like LeetCode problem, so for example, this one, we're not going to do this one, but in LeetCode, you can change your coding language to some different ones. So you can switch between Python 3, C++. There's an option for C if you wanted to test your coding problem with C. Okay, Han So High says, I feel like C has to be learned from scratch because it's different from Java, JavaScript, and Python. I mean, there are elements in C that are in a lot of other like derivative languages. So Java has elements from C. JavaScript has elements from C. So does Python. But there are some elements that are unique to C. I wouldn't say that C has to be learned from scratch. You can definitely take your experience from other languages and apply it to C as well. Derivative languages. Derivative languages. There's no garbage collector. I mean, there are differences, of course. But I'm saying you don't need to learn C from scratch. Your previous experiences will help. Okay, so your version of the program must print the same results as the expected output. Ah, we've got a lot of numbers. Write a program that sorts 10 floating point numbers in descending order. Okay. All right. So you know what? I'm gonna grab the code from the previous example and use it as a template. Just gonna grab this and put it into my editor here. Actually, you know what? We should probably put this in its own file. This is easier to look at. Yeah, no worries, brother. I'm here to help whenever I can. So we're basically implementing the bubble sort, but we're applying it to these floating point numbers. So I guess we would need to declare a few things like I, and then the auxiliary that we use while we're running the loop. Okay, so what else do we need to... So the array itself, also the swapped variable. Okay, we don't need to ask the user to enter 5 variables, but we do need to sort them with this over here. So swapped equals 0 for I equals 0, I less than 4, but it doesn't work for I we have to get the length of the array, right? The size of the array. Or wait, how many numbers do we have in our floating point numbers array? So it's 10. Okay, so we know it's 10. Okay. Aux always reminds me of Metasploit. Is there a famous auxiliary? Oh, the auxiliary like modules, right? In Metasploit? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so we can use this exact loop. Except for the fact that we need to change up some of these variables, right? So I is going to be less than 9 in this case, because we're dealing with a 10 number array. And then the other part is talking about printing out so do swapped equals 0 for I less than 9, I iterates. So this is still called the numbers array. So numbers I is less than numbers I plus 1. Swapped equals 1. So that means we swapped, right? And then we got the auxiliary variable, which is holding the first value. Then we swap the values here. Okay. So that's it. Here, there's also this second part that they want us to do. After each execution of the inner loop, your program should print the values on the screen with another smaller loop. You can use this. Okay, so after each execution of the inner loop. Okay, Sarah's Wa. Hello, nice to see you here. Can you tell me what you're solving right now? Yeah, we're doing a course. We're doing a C programming course. It's over here if you want to try it out yourself. What site is this? This is the edub.org site. It's got a bunch of different programming courses that you can take. Salute to you, my brother. Already hurting from the problems you're facing. Yeah, I mean, we only grow when we challenge ourselves, I guess, and sometimes it's tough. So do swapped equals 0, then run the for loop, and then after the for loop we can print out another loop here, right? Actually, do we put it here? Good and great. Okay. So if something something, then swap. And then we do our another for loop here. For I equals 0. And what was it? I less than I less than 9, I increments. We want to printf numbers I. But this is going to be what? %2f, %.2f, because it's a floating point number. So while swapped. Okay, let's see what happens when we run this program. I mean, the stuff is printing out, but the output looks a bit scuffed. So the expected, we're also not getting the expected output. So print the numbers and then put a space, and then after the for loop, just do printf, or just do like a puts. Puts empty string. Make sure to put your semicolons in, because otherwise something bad will happen. Okay, this only happens twice though. They're printing out the numbers. And I see that the swaps don't seem to be happening. So if numbers I is less than numbers I plus 1, swapped equals 1. Yeah, because the array, this is the, I'm pretty sure this is the initial, no, this is not the initial state of the array. After each execution of the inner loop, your program should print the values on the screen. With another smaller loop, you can use this. Okay, let's take a look at the... so the initial bubble sort. Initialization of the values, and then do the sort. While swapped. Then printf sorted array is this. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's why the program isn't working as intended. Hold on, let me change up the white space here, because this is bothering me a bit. Maybe add a print where you swap, when you swap values, so you can see what it's actually doing. Okay, so while swapped, how much longer do I want to keep doing this? I'll do this for another 15 minutes. 15, 1, 5. And we'll see if we can get this solved within that time. So this should actually more like this. Okay, so while I equals 0, I less than 9, I iterates. So this is the loop, right? Do something. Swapped equals 0. Run the loop if you find any numbers that you need to swap. I guess we can also print something like we made a swap, like puts. Okay, run the program. We only make one swap. And then for some reason, this comes back as numbers I is greater than numbers I plus 1. So if the first element is greater than the second element, so first element, but there was no swap made here. Is there something I'm missing? Okay, let's add more debugging commands here, right? So for each one of these, we'll do printf I'd put swapping number and number for a start. I mean, I think what I want to do first is %2f, right? So %2f first second. And these are going to be I and I plus 1. No, this is going to be numbers. Numbers I, and then numbers I plus 1. Okay. Yeah, not D. So did I put D anywhere in here? No. Okay, okay. Run the program. Yeah, so that it doesn't swap. So let's see. We assign numbers I. Numbers I equals numbers I plus 1. Then numbers I plus 1 equals auxiliary. Yeah, we want the new line. Nothing gets swapped. No, it swapped them. I don't... So after every loop, we print out the list of numbers, but it's the same. Your cyber doctor is rated with a party of 11. Oh wow, it's some coincidence. I'm actually going to be ending stream pretty soon. But hey, hello raiders. Let's give a shout out to your cyber doctor. Hold on. There you go. If you're interested in a streamer who is on his journey to learning about cybersecurity, check out Your Cyber Doctor. I think Your Cyber Doctor works at a cybersecurity consultancy company, right? Check the initial value of the array. Yeah. It did swap something, though. But this is not... these are not the correct values. It only seems to swap like a limited number of times. So I guess we could... So we'll try printing out the final one. Like here. Okay, so let's see. Your cyber doctor says, almost. I work in cyber insurance, so cyber analyst and sales plus law kind of mix. Sam FR says, yo buddy, how's it going? We're just trying to figure out how to write this program in C. It's a heck of a time. So yeah, the final result of the sort is is this, but this isn't what we want. It's going to be the same value you printed at the end of the loop, yeah. So why does it not keep on going? So while swapped, swapped equals 0. So for some reason, at this point, it doesn't see anything to swap anymore. But it should. So it should be swapping 5 to this position. Hold on. So if we're doing a sorting algorithm right here, right? A sorting program. So it should be comparing these two numbers. And if this number is greater than this number, then we should swap these two numbers to put the bigger number at the front. But it doesn't do it. Okay, let's see. Anarchist says that the printf should be made inside the if, not outside, when you actually found something to swap. So let's see, the printf should go inside the if. Okay, so we'll print we'll do a little printf statement here. So printf, we're swapping %2f and %2f. And those elements are I, or numbers I, and numbers I plus 1. Okay. Everybody in cybersecurity is a student? Yeah. Everybody, I mean, even teachers are students. No teacher knows everything. Okay, we're swapping 6 and... What do you mean 6? Whoa, what? Hold on. Oh, no. Okay. I forgot to put the 2. Okay, the first printf will make a lot of noise. Every comparison, not just what you want, so I'd remove it. I mean, my suspicion is that it's actually not swapping a lot. So we're swapping 5.6 and 4.3, right? 5.6 and 4.3. Wait. But why does this become... Why does this become 5? 5.0? 5.6 and 4. Where did this 5.0 come from? Oh, real Mr. Beast. Hey, what's up, man? So this... Is there something inherently wrong with our swapping algorithm, with our swapping function? Thank you very much for following, real Mr. Beast. Thank you. Auxiliary numbers I. Oh, we... Okay. I think I understand what's going on. So auxiliary is an integer, but auxiliary should be... Yeah, okay. So one of these is not... So this should be a float. Auxiliary should be a float, that's why it's not working. Okay, that's, let's run the thing again. No, it's still... It's still not working. I thought that would have solved the problem. But what's happening now? So first second, we're swapping 5.6 and 4.3. So those get swapped. But it still doesn't do anything past the first. And it seems like it's not actually putting the stuff in the right place. Alright, I'm gonna have to go because it's getting pretty late over here. But let's take a look and see if anybody cool is streaming over at InfoSec Streams. Looks like I am the only person there. Actually, I'm not even there. Hold on. Yeah, that's weird. Let's see who else is on Twitch. There might be some cool people on Twitch. Maybe some people doing science stuff. Oh, Snowcones is still doing... Oh, she's doing Leet Code! Awesome. So Snowcones is a friend of mine from way back when. She does a bunch of different stuff on her stream, but she also does Leet Code. She does software development stuff as a job. So we're gonna raid into her channel. SnowX Cone, I think. Okay. We're starting the raid now. When you arrive on our channel, if you could give this message, I'd really appreciate it. OS Frog, Hip Hop Hack, OS Frog, just like this. And you know what? We'll take a look at what she's doing before we go. Twitch sure does take a long time to load. Thank you for the stream tonight. Okay, you made me want to learn C. I'll go and read Effective C 2nd edition. Yeah, I'm here to help people get inspired, and I'm here to help people find resources and stuff. So if you are inspired, I'm happy to hear that. Okay, we're gonna be streaming. The next time we're streaming is on Wednesday. So Wednesday we're going to be doing a regular stream. We're going to be doing some reverse engineering stuff. We're going to be teaching stuff about reverse engineering and doing some reverse engineering challenges. But Snowcones is doing Leet Code. So everybody, please say OS Frog Hip Hop Hack when you arrive on our channel. HackerFrogs out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you next time, everybody.